Hi there. I think I need to thank one more time the Build the Builders team for the hospitality, for the organization of this event. And yeah, let's applause one more time for them. No, it's not the first time I participate in the Bitcoin events, and every time I notice a particular detail in our communications. I'm the communication guy, not the technical, not the developer, not the programmer. And we are really making good accent on the education part. We want to explain Bitcoin every time. And the phenomenon of orange pilling means the necessity of a specific knowledge we have and other just need to get. And that brings us to the phenomenon of study Bitcoin action, our way to do activism when we project the logo study Bitcoin on the strongholds of fiat institutions like central banks, like normal banks, and the other ones when we put stickers with study Bitcoin on lampposts, and they study Bitcoin. But do you really believe that anyone would study anything by seeing a random sticker on a lamppost? I think not. And under the study Bitcoin, there is hidden something very, very different. I know about the projections. We really love them. We really love to project the logo, to keep it there for 21 minutes, to make photos, to share it on Twitter. And that makes the response by the fiat institutions, by fiat organizations, such unpleasant, like an unpleasant slap when they appropriate our methods, like Greenpeace has done, and they did it on the other level with their resources, with the specialists. I think we need to appreciate the work of specialists of Greenpeace, the motion designers. That was pretty cool. We can disagree, of course, and we do disagree, but the work was done fine. And what was the response of Bitcoiners? Nah, they didn't get the point. They completely missed the point. They didn't understand anything. But you know what? No, they did. They did understand it. And of course, they are fiat. Of course, they are scammers. Of course, they are liars. Yes, and they are much better in lying than us in telling the truth. And that is, I think, the problem for the moment Bitcoin cannot solve, cannot fix. Who am I to speak about communications with Bitcoin? For example, in the year with Bitpolito, we made such a rumorous branding, good communications, and for a year I worked there as an art director. For a year and a half, I was chief designer in Alpha Bank, that is the largest private bank in Russia, one of the best fintechs in the world. And I've just finished my research on fintech in Russia and Italy. When I say Italy, I think it's correct to mean the European market comparison insights for improvement. What was the research is pretty interesting. That was a comparison of seven Italian banks and fintech services with 7 Russian banks for different functions, for multiple functions, 68, I think, in 4 categories. That's pretty interesting to study. Maybe I'll share it to you in private. Some of examples that could be useful for you guys who work on Bitcoin services. For example, multi-channel customer support, the contact between the service and the user is present only in 3 services out of 7 in Italy, in all of services in Russia, so you can both call and write to them. But you can not only write in chat, you can write in social networks. But in Russia, you can also, in 3 banks out of 7, you can also make financial operations inside of the chat. In chatbots, you can send money, pay the network, use your cashback. All that and much more functions in the inside of the social network. That's pretty fine. And in the app, you can, for example, split bills. The thing we are dreaming in Bitcoin community about, if you paid in a store or a grocery restaurant, so on, you can divide the payment with your friend. And the study of interactions between client and the bank is also pretty interesting. For example, I know you Bitcoiners, privacy-oriented, maybe all of you use Graphene OS only on your phones. You don't have Siri or Google Assistants, but a lot of people have Siri or Google Assistants. And inside the bank apps in Russia, you also have the access to voice assistants. They are different. You can interact with your money using only your voice. You can send money, you can pay the phone or the internet, use cashback, other functions, much more. The most advanced one is named Oleg by Tinkoff Bank. That's pretty cool. You know what? It can respond automatically to scammer calls to troll them. It's pretty good in joking. And to register the dialogue and then to send it to you in the app. That's great. And the standard was brought to the industry by Rocket Bank. Rocket Bank doesn't exist from 2021, but we should remember the heredity of that brought cool design to the financial, very conservative sector. For example, credit cards like that are not, you can find often credit cards like that in Europe in 2023, and they did it in 2018. Their Instagram profile looks like, I know, profile of an animation studio, of a cool 3D designer, anything, but not a bank. And with this approach, we made BitPolito great again, pretty famous. And the design became kind of humorous, and everyone recognizes us by the blue cow. I invite you, by the way, to follow BitPolito on Instagram. They deserve it. And the Italian, so I mean European banks on Instagram like that. Like, that's just a formal design. Just we need to have a profile. We will fill it with something. They use stock photos. They just, you just don't want to follow it. It's just bad. So that means the communication could be really important. Look at that. It's pretty cool. It's a big work of big designers, of big professionals. This is a profile not of a bank, but of a voice assistant of the bank. While that is the profile of the bank. Tinkoff invites artists, visual artists, I know fashion designers, fashion photographers, light artists to make their contents, to make shootings like that. They collaborate with different musical artists and stars. They produce merch like that. I speak about Russian fintech. They collaborate with other brands, like collaboration between Alphabank and Crocs. They do merch creative. They, look, for example, that backpack is the one with which couriers bring you credit cards or document by home. They make collections in collaboration with fashion designers, and they are banks in Europe that's not seen. And that means if we apply the approach of Russian fintech to Bitcoin, we'll conquer the market in a day. They do all these things for years, and we see as competitors only European banks because we think what could happen in Russia. They do these shootings, these kind of ones, while Bitcoin merge are gadgets. We Bitcoiners will love when the big B is being printed on the T-shirt, pre-made T-shirt, pre-made maybe an H&M T-shirt that's completely fiat like an approach. And the study Bitcoin has the same identical problem. No one will go to study Bitcoin from seeing a photo. It's just an action for our own narcissism. Actually, our communications are fine, are more than fine, but we are communicating the thing that maybe we would not like to communicate. So we need to take an important decision. Just in panelize, I've heard already the response, like 2 pills, yeah? Orange pills, the whole matrix thing. We have 2 pills. Or we take the blue one, and I'll go out of the stage, and we'll continue shit posting on Twitter about fiat and criticizing everyone without attracting the masses. Or instead, we'll take the red one, and I'll show you the white rabbit hole of marketing. Like, what is fiat we are talking about? Every time I say, that is fiat, that is Bitcoin, that is not Bitcoin, that is fiat. We mean not the economic part, because it's much bigger than financial, like the financial institutions and economic industry. It's about values. Like fiat standards mean fiat values. It's fast fashion, it's blockbuster, it's fast food, it's something made for fast income and never long-term investitions. And what are the Bitcoin companies? Maybe they are not related to Bitcoin directly. Maybe like classical films could be Bitcoin, like they represent Bitcoin values. And there are a lot of things that are about Bitcoin values, but they're not speaking about Bitcoin. They could appear much earlier than Bitcoin appeared. And to support these values and to spread them, we'd like to present Novoteca, the Bitcoin-based versatile atelier. You know, in 1967, Yves Saint Laurent has done an important thing in fashion. He has brought Africa to high fashion, to runways. He was inspired by national customs of African tribes and made a collection based on this aesthetic. And what would be an aesthetic and the fashion appearance appeal of Bitcoin community? Like, we know that every strong idea has its own silhouette, an expressive silhouette, like caps of communist Bolsheviks, like the dresses, soft light dresses in Belle Epoque. Every national custom, any strong idea has it. And we want to formulate, to construct the appearance of the Bitcoin industry without speaking about Bitcoin directly, but keeping the values, transmitting the ideas, and attracting people who would like to use Bitcoin. They are not Bitcoiners, but they have the same values. For example, who were the Americans who voted Trump in 2020? 50% of population, a lot of people that don't feel represented, that feel alone. They say, no, every company goes woke. Every company goes woke and puts the rainbow flag every June. Yeah, and how could we show to these people that they are not alone and they are welcome in the Bitcoin community if we think that we are kind of a cult or something like that? We are a culture. We can spread the value. We can spread an idea with this, with the things inspired by nature, by values like low time preferences, like self-sovereign values, I know, proof of work, inspired by the epoch, by the era that represented the last big hope, the modern era, the Art Nouveau, and the culture of our land from Italy. These tiles, for example, are not just tiles. They're inspired by the traditional Sicilian tiles made with the less expressive medium, with bits like 0 and 1, the beauty, the traditional beauty of mass, the beauty of the code, the natural beauty of mass without mentioning numbers, the things for whom, like that, like symbolism hidden in things, simple details like this lightning one, the font that could be the first writing in Bitcoin, the Bitcoin visual culture that we could bring to the masses, that we could spread with spreading the Bitcoin values. And I hope it works. Thank you.